Now to Maine's jails, still facing big staffing issues, some of which are impacting the health care of inmates and what they're receiving, and in some cases not receiving. That includes the medications they are prescribed. News at Maine's Jack Mohammed joins us live in studio tonight. Jack, you've been following this story for a while now. This seems to be a case of unintended consequences.
That's right, Brian. Well, for this story, this is a story that takes us to the small Mid-Coast jail in Knox County, and one man named Louis Rubino. He's been arrested many times before and suffers from what his family calls severe ADHD. Now, he was on the medication called Ritalin when he was transferred to the Knox County jail last year, but healthcare contractors at the jail stopped prescribing it to him. And now, as his medical records show, he's clearly becoming more agitated. So why did the jail cut it? And how was he able to get prescriptions in other detention facilities but not in Knox County? It's something even the sheriff says needs to be fixed.
I was just trying to look for a better photo of him, but this is when he got married.
Denise Bellinger says her son's problems started well before he went to jail.
He always fought with siblings, cousins.
She had Louis at 18, and she says she had trouble handling him while keeping a job.
It's when he was away from me that I had no control.
But don't get it twisted, for as troubled as Louis was growing up, at the core, we saw a family man.
He's quite humorous. He can be really funny.
Denise says Louis never had an outlet for his mental health, leading to multiple stints in jail.
I used to cry and cry and cry every day, and I would hear things, and I would cry.
But Louis's story is not a one-off. In Maine's jail systems, recidivism is common, especially due to mental health issues.
When you see kind of the same names coming over and over with the same behaviors, how can we impact that?
Sheriff Patrick Polkey of Knox County says inmate mental health is an ongoing issue that is hard to handle for jails that already work under a constrained budget.
Unfortunately, the jails have kind of become the de facto mental health facility.
But inside Knox County Jail is where Louis Rubino was transferred from a prison in 2022. And before that transfer, he was getting regular doses of Ritalin. But according to his medical record, his prescription ran out a short time after he got to the jail. It was renewed in very small doses and eventually stopped. In the file, you can see him make multiple pleas to the physician contracted to Knox County Jail. Quote, "No one is doing anything about my mental health." But Louis never got back on the full dose of Ritalin despite having a prescription to Ritalin prior to going to Knox County. So why wouldn't they refill it?
Maybe there's no communication between the doctors on my side of the contract and the DOC's contract.
Sheriff Polkey says he won't question the medical decisions of the contractors, but if the Ritalin did help Rubino, then there needs to be a solution.
I know that is something that has been visited by sheriffs in the past, of trying to figure out a way that we can collaborate and have some of these things be common across all of us.
But both Rubino's family and Rubino himself say the Ritalin helps his ADHD.
I wish aspirin did what that stuff did, because it's really affecting my life.
You're hearing Rubino earlier this year speaking from his jail cell. He says without Ritalin, he feels like he's regressing.
Not saying my side doesn't deserve to be punished for the crimes they commit, but does the punishment really fit the crime?
It's very common.
Jan Collins, the assistant director for the Maine Prisoner Advocacy Coalition, says that prescriptions in prison and jail often get lost.
Even when they try to, they're not going to be giving the kind of care that you could get in the community.
She says that understaffing throughout jails has made these problems worse.
There's staffing issues, there's finance issues, there's all kinds of things going on.
We're hoping the state will help us in some regard with mental health.
And for Sheriff Polkey, the work to better mental health services in his jail continues to work with hiring more contracted mental health workers.
We're becoming more educated to those things.
There's like a very sad little boy in that man who never really got answered.
Louis Rubino is being released in July, and after months of being off his medication, his family is worried about the state of his mental health when he gets out.
The system's hard. The system's broken. How do we fix it? I don't know. I don't know.
Now, as you just heard, Lewis's family expects him to be released early next month, which is actually a week before his birthday. Now, Sheriff Polkey with Knox County also told me that him, along with Waldo County, Saginaw County, and Lincoln County jails, have just signed this week an agreement to share information and duties with each other. He hopes his jail can serve as an acute mental health care facility in the future, while the larger jail, Two Bridges, would be more of a traditional intake style of jail. And Brian, Sheriff Polkey says the hope is that the state will notice this and work to set up more mental health care facilities for certain offenders.
Jack Mohammed with our in-depth look tonight. Jack, thanks so much.